Once again, I welcome you all for Standard 9th, subject Science and Technology Part 2. Students, we will be continuing with chapter number 17, Introduction to Biotechnology Module 2. My name is Ms. Jagjeet Kaur. Students, before beginning with the module, let us see what are the learning objectives. So, in this module, you will be learning about the remaining different types of animal tissues. That is, you will be learning about muscular tissue and nervous tissue. Then students, you all will be understanding about the plant tissue, and under plant tissue, you will be understanding meristematic tissue and the different types of meristem, that is apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. So before starting with the module, let us recall what we have studied in module 1. So students, we studied that in unicellular organisms, all the necessary functions are carried out by a single cell. And in multicellular organisms, the cells performing similar functions come together in group and form tissues. Then a group of cells having the same origin, same structure and same function is called tissue. And due to the specific organization of cells and their division of work, the functions of the body are done with great efficiency, and tissues made up of only one type of cells are called as simple tissues, and tissues consisting of more than one type of cells are called complex tissues. Then we studied that animal tissues are of four types, and the four types are epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue and nervous tissue. And these tissues form various organs of the body, and the functioning of each of these organs is as per the tissue that it contains. Now we studied about epithelial tissue. So epithelial tissue form the protective covering and animal bodies. They are closely packed and they form continuous layers. And also the cells of epithelial tissue have underlying fibrous membrane. There is a fibrous membrane between the epithelial tissue and underlying tissue. And squamous epithelium is made up of thin, small, flat cells forming semi-permeable membrane. Stratified epithelium is made up of multiple layer of cells. Glandular epithelium is made up of cell containing vesicles packed with secretory material. Columnar epithelium is made up of column-like tall cells having folds on the upper free surface which is useful for absorption. And ciliated epithelium is made up of upper surface of cells possesses minute hair-like processes called cilia. And cuboidal epithelium is made up of cuboidal cells. The tissue which join different parts of the body are called connective tissues, and connective tissue cells are loosely arranged and there is a ground substance in the free spaces in between the cells. Then blood is made up of erythrocytes, leukocytes and platelets in a liquid plasma. Lymph is made up of fluid oozed out of blood capillaries. It contains leukocytes and liquid ground substance. Areolar tissue is made up of different types of cells which are loosely arranged and supported by a jelly-like ground substance and elastic fiber. And adipose tissue is made up of cells filled with fat droplets, jelly-like ground substance. Cartilage is made up of cells which are supported by fibrous, flexible, jelly-like ground substance, And bones are made up of osteocytes, which are embedded in solid ground substance, which is made up of calcium phosphate. And tendons are fibrous, strong and less elastic, located at the joints. And ligaments are strong and highly flexible, located at the joints. Students, now let's understand about muscular tissue. Muscular tissues are made up of special type of contractile proteins which can undergo contraction and relaxation. The muscular tissue, which are made up of the long cells of muscle fibers, show contraction and relaxation, thus helping in all the locomotory activities. Muscular tissues are of three types, and the three types are striated muscles, non-striated muscles, and cardiac muscles. Now let's learn about the types of muscular tissue. So the first type of muscular tissue is striated muscle. Now striated muscle cell is long and cylindrical, having many nuclei, that is, it is multinucleate, and the cells are not branched. And the characteristics of striated muscle is there is alternate dark and light bands, and muscles are attached to bones and they move as per our will. And the function of striated muscle is that these muscles bring about movements of arms and legs, walking, running, working, speaking, etc. Now the second type of muscular tissue is non-striated muscle. Now non-striated muscle cell is short, spindle-shaped, uninucleate and have no branches. And the characteristics of non-striated muscle is that dark and light bands are absent and they are not attached to bones and their movements are not under control of our will. They are present in the alimentary canal, blood vessels, etc. And the functions of non-striated muscle is that movement of eyelids, passage of food through alimentary canal, and contraction and relaxation of blood vessels. Now the third type of muscular tissue is cardiac muscle. Now cardiac muscle cell is cylindrical, uninucleate and branched, and the characteristics of cardiac muscle is that dark and light bands are present. The heart is made of these muscles and their movements are not under the control of our will. They contract and relax rhythmically. And the function is that contraction and relaxation of the heart takes place with the help of cardiac muscle. Students, now let's learn about nervous tissue. Nervous tissue responds to the stimuli provided from the environment. Nerve cells or neurons make the nervous tissue, and they are excitable and can pass their excitations through conduction from one part of the body to other. And the three main important parts of the neuron are cyton, that is cell body, dendron, that is dendrites, and axon. The cell body is the main part containing the cytoplasm and the nucleus. Dendrites are the numerous small branched fibers emerging from the cyton, and axon is single long fiber. A single neuron can be 1 meter long. A nerve is made up of many nerve fibers, and nervous tissue is seen in brain, spinal cord, and the network of nerves spread out in the body. And stimulus and response reactions occur due to the integrated functioning of nervous tissue and muscular tissue. Plant tissue is a collection of similar cells performing an organized function for the plant, and each plant tissue is specialized for a unique purpose and can be combined with other tissues to create organs such as leaves, flowers, stems, and roots. And plant tissues are broadly categorized into three tissue systems, and this classification is on the basis of parts of the plants they are represent. So the three tissue systems are, the first tissue system is epidermis tissue. In epidermis tissues, cells are formed from the outermost surface of the leaves. And the second tissue system is vascular tissues. They are involved in transporting fluid and nutrients internally. And the third tissue system is ground tissue. And ground tissue is involved in producing nutrients by photosynthesis and preserve nutrients. And plant tissue is divided into two types. This classification is on the basis of the types of cells they comprise, that is, meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Now, students, can you recall what is the main difference between the growth of animals and plants? Correct. The main difference between growth of animals and growth of plants is that in animals, growth takes place only for fixed period and it occurs throughout the animal's body. Whereas in plants, growth continues throughout life and it is localized. Now, why does the growth of a plant occur only at specific parts of the plant body? Yes, growth of a plant occurs only at specific parts of the plant body due to the presence of meristematic tissue at particular sites in a plant. The main function of meristematic tissue is to bring about plant growth. Now let's learn about meristematic tissue. Now growth in plants occurs in those parts only where meristematic tissue is present. And cells of meristematic tissue have thick cytoplasm with a conspicuous nucleus. Their cell walls are thin and compactly packed together. Vacuoles are usually absent in meristematic cells. And these cells are highly active as they bring about growth in plants, and according to the location, meristematic tissue is of three types, that is apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. Now let's learn about the types of meristematic tissue. So the first type is apical meristem. Apical meristem is located at the tip of the root and stem, and the function of apical meristem is that it increases the length of the root and stem. Now the second type of meristematic tissue is intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem is located at the base of the petiole of leaves and of branches. And the function of intercalary meristem is that it helps in the growth of branches and formation of leaves and flowers. Now the third type of meristematic tissue is lateral meristem. Lateral meristem is located at the lateral sides of root and stem, and the function of lateral meristem is that it increases the width of the root and stem. Width means diameter. Students, this was the end of module 2. Now let us summarize what we have learned in today's module. So we learned that muscular tissues are made up of special type of contractile proteins which can undergo contraction and relaxation, and muscular tissue are long cells of muscle fibers showing contraction and relaxation, thus helping in all locomotory activities. Then muscular tissue are of three types, that is striated muscles, non-striated muscles and cardiac muscles. Striated muscles are also called voluntary muscles and they bring about movement of arms and legs, walking, running, working, speaking, etc. Non-striated muscles are also called involuntary muscles. They bring about movement of eyelids, passage of food through alimentary canal, contraction and relaxation of blood vessels. And cardiac muscles are cylindrical, uninucleate and branched and helps in contraction and relaxation of the heart. Nervous tissue responds to the stimuli provided from the environment, and nerve cells or neurons makes the nervous tissue. They are excitable and can pass their excitations through conduction from one part of the body to other. And the three main parts of the neuron are cyton, that is cell body, dendron, dendrites, and axon. The cell body is the main part containing the cytoplasm and the nucleus. Dendrites are the numerous small branched fibers emerging from the cyton, and axon is a single long fiber. Nervous tissue is seen in brain, spinal cord, and the network of nerves spread out in the body. And growth in plants occurs in those parts only where meristematic tissue is present. Cells of meristematic tissue have thick cytoplasm with a conspicuous nucleus, and meristematic tissue are of three types, that is apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. Apical meristem increases the length of the root and the stem, and intercalary meristem increases the growth of branches and formation of leaves and flowers. And lateral meristem increases girth, that is diameter of the root and the stem. Thank you dear students. I will be back with module 3. Till then, goodbye and have a nice day.